By the end of this video, you are going to have a simple, quick recipe for the most delicious, fluffy, plant-based pancakes. I promise you, these will not stick around long. All right, are you ready to start making some pancakes? These are fast, they are fluffy, and they will go like hotcakes. See what I did there? Okay, this is what you need. Flour, baking powder, salt, a sweetener, and ground flaxseed. Let's get started. This is such an easy recipe. It's almost embarrassing how easy it is. The one thing you may or may not have in your kitchen is ground flaxseed. Now this is used often in plant-based baking as an egg substitute. So you can use different things. You can use aquafaba, you can use as an egg substitute. You can use banana, mashed up ripe banana, sweet potato, pumpkin. And I will sometimes make a yummy pumpkin, I call them pumpkin pie pancakes. But for this recipe, I find that flax works the best. So your egg substitute is going to be 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed to 3 tablespoons of water. Now, I live in a house of pancake beasts, so I always make a triple batch of this. So I'm gonna put in, and you're gonna wanna do this step first because it's gotta sit for a few minutes. So we've got 3 tablespoons of ground flax, and this is 9 tablespoons of water, okay? So we put that in, we stir it up a wee bit, and then we just set it aside. And that's going to get kind of like a gel consistency. And that's what's gonna bind your pancakes together. All right, next, oh, you know what else I forgot that I needed? I need a plant-based milk. I didn't pull that out of the fridge yet. I'll get that. Okay, so we're gonna need, so I'm making, like I said, a triple batch. They'll be gone. They'll be gone by noon between my 4 kids and my poodle that loves pancakes. My husband and I are lucky if we get any of these. Okay, so we've got 3 cups of flour. And I'll post the recipe, I'll include the recipe. So there's our flour. And then for every cup of flour, we put in 2 teaspoons of baking powder. This is what makes them so fluffy. All right, there we go. Teaspoon. Eyes are getting a little weary after 40. Okay, so 3, that's 6. Not a mathematician. Do also very messy cook. Just ask my husband. Beautiful, done with that. So for this recipe, we do add a little bit of salt. But you don't have to. You could choose to omit that if you're not having salt. So we're gonna do 1/2 teaspoon of salt per cup of flour. So that means we've got 1, but that's to taste. There we go. And I will then whisk these dry ingredients together. Otherwise you get a little salty patch of pancake. That's not good. So whisk them together. So now we can prepare our wet ingredients. So to be honest, I use whatever plant-based milk I have in the house. So you have 1 cup of plant-based milk or 1 cup of liquid to every cup. So it's equal ratio, 1 to 1. We want a little bit of vanilla. I never measure this, but for you guys I will. I just go, you know. Let's put it, I believe I'll check my recipe, but I think I say about a teaspoon per. And then you can choose to add a sweetener or not. The vanilla gives it a nice flavor. The salt will bring out, you know, a little bit of the sweetness, the natural sweetness in the flour, but I like to add, I have a Dutch heritage, so, you know, I like a little bit of something. So I'm choosing maple syrup today. You could use any kind of sweetener, liquid, or you could use sugar if you like. All right, there we go. Let's mix this up together. Let's mix this together. Oh, before we do that though, let's add in our flax, which has got a bit thicker now, into our liquid. Just use that same whisk. Mix it up. And let's get stirring. So you're gonna wanna mix it until you don't have any more lumps. Lumps and clumps. The other thing I will say, I'm gonna show you, well, that's pretty good. Depending on where you live, you may need to adjust the milk. So I live in a very dry climate, and I find that because of that, in a lot of baking recipes, I have to add a little bit more liquid. So this looks pretty good for a pancake. I like to use these scoopers for my pancake. The reason being is then every single pancake is about the same size, which the dog is here, he heard me say pancake, which is important for me because I track what I eat. And so I like to know, and that this allows me to figure out what my recipes are worth calorically and nutritionally. So that's why I like to use a standard measure. It doesn't have to be a fancy, this is I think a cookie dough scoop or something. It doesn't have to be like that, but if you were to use the same measurement for each thing, yeah, that's perfect. Then you would be able to figure out what the caloric value of each pancake is. All right, I'm gonna get the grill warmed up and I'll see you back here in a minute. And let's cook these puppies up. Our griddle is ready to go. Now you can do these on a frying pan as well, and they will brown up a little bit more. My kids don't like them too toasty, and I can do 6 at a time on this griddle, so that's why I use it. Totally up to you, whatever works the best. You like toastier pancakes, I'd go with a frying pan. Now, I will use, these are nonstick plates, but I do use a teeny bit of cooking spray, and then I just use a little whisper of it, and then kind of wipe it off. I know, it's like, well, why did you use it in the first place? I just need a little bit, just so it doesn't stick. And I don't do it in between every set of pancakes. All right, here we go. I don't know if you can see in the shot, but I got a supervisor right over my shoulder, a furry one. Drop them on here. You're still here. I'm working on it. So what we're waiting for, how do we know they're ready to flip? Now, maybe some of you are like pancake masters and you know all of this, but just in case you don't know, you gotta wait for the bubbles. So there's gonna be bubbles that come up on the top and they're gonna start to burst. I can see a couple on here. They're already bursting, and it will, once you get a few bursted and you can see around the edges that it looks like it's a little bit drier, it's not quite as wet, then it's safe to flip. Premature pancake flipping, well, this is what the poodle counts on actually, because those are the ones that end up being the poodle pancakes. These are looking good. Might have to eat one right away. I don't know if I can wait till they're all done. Yes. I like using a little flipper. Too clumsy with a big flipper when they're this close together. All right, and they're really gonna fluff up when they cook up on the other side. Now, when I eat my pancakes, I put a bunch of fruit with them. This is sort of how I like to eat them. I put fruit with everything though, to be fair. But I'll have, for breakfast, I'll have 2 or 3 of these. This recipe made this way with this scoop, these pancakes work out to be about 65 calories each, for what it's worth. And if that's something that you track or care about. Which really isn't terrible, because I can have 3 of these for just about 200 calories. And then I'll put, say, a bunch of fruit, maybe an apple or a banana, peanut butter and banana sprinkled with hemp seeds. Cocoa whip, if it's the weekend, we'll put a bit of cocoa whip with them. Oh, here's something else. You can use whole wheat flour. Oat flour is delicious in pancakes. I used all-purpose flour because we had a lot of that hanging around, but Whole wheat flour is a lovely option, increases the nutrition and the fiber. You can also use this recipe with gluten-free flours. I've done that with quite a bit of success in the past. We have liftoff, they're ready. Pancakes. And there you go. Perfect, fluffy, plant-based pancakes. No eggs, no dairy, no oil, aside from that little bit of spritz that we used. These are a healthy, quick option for the mornings. I like to make these ahead and have them available in the fridge. Sadly, they don't usually make it past the first day that I make them. That's just how good these are. Enjoy!